Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Hope you've had a great week. I know I'm not as energetic. I'm getting the look from Danny right now. Wow, he's like, wow, that was weak.
I did not have a look. You, sir, have inferred something from me that I was not thinking. But if you wanted to start over and do another one, I'm not going to say no.
No, it's okay. I just did not roll a high enough number to like get good character. That's all that was. So I will deal with what I got there, and everybody else listening can as well.
You can edit it in with some reverb or something.
Oh my goodness! Nah, I think this.
Hey,
is
everybody, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I think this just sort of fits the MO of just the current situation. Just so kind of tired, worn down. It's coming to the end of April, coming into May, those last few weeks before school ends for some. I don't know. Do you go into June?
I think we only go a couple days into June.
Okay.
But if any at all, I don't remember the exact date because there's too many kids in too many different schools. So, yeah. So I think it's the end of May.
That's good. Well, so that's coming to you, and then it's like, kind of bracing yourself for like, oh great, they're here all the time.
It's like 5 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks, and they'll all be home. And Fabian's coming home from college earlier than that. And when we moved in here, there are 3 bedrooms upstairs, and we built a room downstairs, finished a room off downstairs as you can't call it a bedroom because it doesn't have a window kind of thing, but you can sleep in there. So, so we're looking at it and I'm like, all right, well, Fabian's the oldest. He gets his own room. 2 middle kids share a room. And then the littlest gets their own room because 2 boys in one room, a girl in the other room, and I didn't want to mix them up. So cool. And then Fabian goes to college and James takes his room.
Oh.
And yeah, because what are we gonna do with it while he's gone? And then he comes back for was it spring break? Yeah, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna put a curtain up across this part of the basement, and we've got a bean bag that converts into a mattress or whatever. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what else to do. If we could, I'll try to get a blow up, mattress or something, but I can't put a wall up for you. I don't, And I should say I could, but I don't want to put up a wall, in my basement. And I'm just like, yeah, man, that's gonna be rough. But it was fine for him for the most part. I mean, the biggest part is he really didn't have any privacy whenever anybody else was awake because they would just come down in the basement and be, playing around or whatever here. And
You just need to look into like a small camper.
I have been looking into small campers.
That
for
would
my own
work out.
personal use.
Oh, for your own personal use. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
there's that too.
because we're camping. Like we're going camping this weekend.
Oh, really?
At a close one, yeah, for the scouts. So it's just me
Okay.
and Marcus, and I'm not. They don't have electricity on that site, so because of my CPAP, I'm not going to try to spend the night there. But yeah, take him over, drop him off, come back in the morning, yada yada. And I'm looking at it, and one of the other guys has a small camper, and I'm like, is you gonna bring that? He's like, no, I'm not gonna bring it this time, but I may have it. And then summer we've got a 7-day camp, but
Oh,
that's
wow.
gonna be at the Big Scout camp, Big Scout like camperee or whatever they call it. I apologize for any scouts out there that know these words and understand that I don't. It's no disrespect. It's just simply a matter of my brain doesn't keep words well anymore.
It's probably some Indian name that you can't pronounce.
Yeah, it's Tasomas, which is cool, but I can't remember if it's a camporee, a jamboree, or I don't know. So, but a big summer camp, and it's like get your and okay, so you get merit badges, right? And then you
Right.
also have just things they teach you that you don't necessarily get a merit badge in.
Sure.
And I'm looking at this list of stuff, and I'm talking to Marcus. I'm like, okay, I want you to pick a couple of practical things you can start getting merit badges for, because we just started in Scouts, and they are offering a just not a merit badge or certification of any kind, but they're offering a class, I guess, every day in nuclear science.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I said. I went, huh,
How are
what?
you pulling that off in the
And
woods?
right, yes, what are we doing here? But hey, I'm not, it could be just storytelling. It could be oral story, telling like our ancestors did, but about, I don't know, nuclear science.
Hmm.
But
All right.
I mean, Marcus jumped into it.
Of
It was the
course he
first
did.
thing he put down. He's like, yeah, let me do that. And his best friend, Zach, who also is neurodivergent, stepped immediately, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna look sideways." And I'm like, "Cool, cool, cool, cool." And I'm talking to the other kid's dad. I'm like, "Hey, bud, I'm just making sure, right? They're not gonna have any nuclear type things there, right? Because scouts are always prepared. So what am I looking like? Are we gonna? They can't have like uranium or whatever. I shouldn't say those words because my kid will show up and correct me as to what type of radioactive material are actually used in nuclear reactors and such. But the reality of it is it's great. I think it's amazing. I mean, something definitely that, barring, oh, I don't know, Chernobyl and Three Mile Island, which, I think are the biggest disasters that I'm aware of. But barring that, nuclear power is fantastic.
Hmm.
And the idea of what it could do is amazing.
I'm
Um,
very curious to know how this is going to go at camp. I mean,
Me
I've
too.
been a part of camps before, and
Right?
I would not think something as high tech as nuclear science would be one of
Right.
the things brought up. Just
And I'm wondering if maybe like tablets or something, or, because you have to have some type of represent, you have at least a whiteboard. Come on. You have to have something where you can just draw or something. And I'm looking forward to seeing what it is because I will be there
yeah.
with him the entire 7 days, and it's just him and I. And then the other, I don't know, couple, I don't know, 1,000 scouts or however. I don't know how big this thing's going to be.
Okay.
But I keep looking and I'm like, small camper might work
There you
for me,
go. Yep.
if I
Small
get it
camper.
solar powered panels and that kind of sort of thing. And yeah, stay out there all 7 days, in a bed. Because that's the other thing on a 7 day camp, you need to be putting down roots, in my opinion. If you're gonna be
Yeah.
there for 7 days, I'm not sleeping on the ground in a sleeping bag. All right. I would do it if it was a one night, okay, maybe an air mattress, but I was talking to some of the other scout leaders, like, well, no, I have an actual twin size bed. I'm at an actual bed that I bring in because
Yeah.
it's a week. I'm going to be there all week, so I bring in a
Hmm.
bed and set it up, and it's got a mattress, and my brain is just going, what? That's not
You know, you
camping,
could,
is it?
you
But it is.
can, a lot of places rent a camper. They'll actually bring it to your location that you're camping at and set it up and everything, and you use it, and then they come pick it up later. I have a cousin
But
that does that every time we do a family camping
nice,
trip.
nice. I would love that. I am definitely going to consider it. And right now, it's really funny because everybody's getting into the spring, fervor up here in Wisconsin. It's going to be like in the 60s today, and
Mm.
and people are moving like bees buzzing. I mean,
They're all
they are
coming
just
out of hibernation.
everywhere, and they're bringing out all their stuff. And so all these people have their campers for sale.
Oh,
Guy down the street has a fifth wheel that he's looking to sell, and I'm like,
that's a big
yeah,
camper.
I can't do that. If I'm going that big, I'm going to just get a bus. That's my opinion. Because I'm
Mm.
just gonna let's just fully commit into the camping and be an RVer. But I'm not that old yet. I got to get at least another myself. I have to get a few more miles on me before I'm ready for an RV of that size. But
Yeah.
it would be amazing. And I love not necessarily love camping. What I love about it is being prepared for all the things
Sure.
and cooking out on a fire. But like when we camped at home, I shouldn't say at home anymore. When we camped back in Georgia, I would bring I would make crepes the night before or 2 nights before and put
Okay, if you're making
cream cheese
crepes
on
on
them.
a camping trip, that's pretty bougie right there.
That's it. Yes. And then I would freeze them. And then the second day they would be ready to be eaten because I'd put
Oh
them in the
my.
cooler and they'd slowly thaw out. So breakfast was, cream cheese crepes with homemade blackberry jam. Right.
Nope,
And
I can't do it.
that's where I want to be. I want to be giving like steak, have a steak. Can
Now,
you
steak in a camping
imagine?
trip, I can understand that.
That's bougie.
That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. But
Very bougie.
crepes seems much. It's always flapjacks. Pancakes.
Yes.
That's
Yeah. Pancakes.
pancakes,
Yeah.
eggs, bacon.
It's just a thinner pancake. It's fine. It's fine. Or and this is something different, but a lot of because the way I was introduced to the Blackstone was from people going camping, and I think it was with Scouts, but it
Oh
was
yeah,
it was a different podcast. They don't record anymore, but I think it was a stay-at-home dad podcast or something.
yeah.
And Baker had talked about this Blackstone, one of the
Oh
hosts,
yes,
and I'm like,
yeah.
that sounds cool. And he's like, yeah, I have a little portable, and I think it was an 18-inch, maybe a 24, that I just set up and I can cook everything on it. And it's blowing my mind because take a thin pancake mix, and get it going, and then put chocolate chips and small marshmallows and crumbled graham cracker in it. Fold that puppy up, and you got a s'mores, or use a tortilla and do it, which is what is more common, and call it a smaco,
Oh
a
my goodness.
s'mores taco, right?
Oh my goodness. Yes. Wow.
That's the kind of camping I want to do.
That's some bougie camping. You get some Boy Scouts to be like, what the what? Like,
They
yeah.
will not know. I don't think I think I'll be in very good company because the main leader that cooks for us is very very well, bougie in a way. I mean, he expects a certain level of
Comfort.
when he cooks. Yeah, well, more like he's like, well, they chose spaghetti again. And they're like, well, we haven't had spaghetti in a while. It takes, it's just what. And he's like, yeah, but it's just so. And I went, basic. And he looks at me like, yes, that's what I was trying to say without being mean. I'm like, yeah, it's spaghetti, man. Kids love spaghetti. You can't offering gourmet food to children is generally at
Wasteful.
best at best it's a crapshoot.
Wasteful.
Some might like it, but yeah, the old meme about I spent 6 hours preparing this entire spread for Thanksgiving and my kid just wants another roll. And I'm
Yes.
like, but I did all of these things. Look at this amazing food. But when you do that at a camp, you have other adults and you have other adults who can experience. And I guarantee if we had gone camping together at some point and I had brought out freshly warmed sour cream, I'm not, it's cream cheese crepes with blackberry jam and offered them to you, while it may be bougie as all get out, you would appreciate it.
Well, yeah, you're offering me food. I'm eating it. That's the thing. Now, if you told me to plan and that was the case, that would not make it on the list of grocery
It's
shopping items for
easy.
me.
It's so easy. It's so easy. But it's kind of like, and the other part of it is learning how other people cook. And I probably already mentioned this, but I did a thing previously, and the lady said, "Well, what we do is we get crescent rolls and wrap them on your marshmallow stick, basically, because whatever stick you got, no marshmallows on, wrap it on a stick and bake it over the fire. You just got to
Hmm.
keep turning it, and it'll bake it right up, and you have fresh baked bread at
Okay.
camp." And my mind is like, what? And I immediately said, well, wait a minute, what if I took a hot dog on a stick and wrapped it in a croissant or a crescent roll, excuse me, then did it? And other people are like, oh, yeah, yeah. And that's the kind of thing I'm looking to learn. I'm looking to see how these other adults are just inventively
How to
saying, yeah,
how to bougie cook.
how to
And
bougie cook, how to glamp, man. We're glamping. We're glamour camping. We're glamping.
yes, there it is
And
too. That's it.
I
That's what
bought
it is.
I bought and it was $5, so that's why I bought it. But I bought an 8 by 10 kind of outdoor rug. It's like a plasticky material. It's not like an actual
Yep.
rug you'd put in your house, for the inside of my tent, just to have down. And I'm like, why? What do I? And I'm like, because it'll be softer, it'll be cleaner, it'll be nicer to walk on. And I'm going to set this up like I'm going into a home as opposed to a hole. Because generally when I camp, I'm like, I just need a place to lay down and sleep, you know? We have an
Not a
old,
minimalist, not a minimalist camper, I hear.
yeah, not now, not now, for sure. Because I'm like, why? I have nothing to prove, right? I have almost no ego left. It has been demolished over and over to the point where it's not going to rear its ugly head. It still has black eyes from the last time the kids just wrecked me, right? That's just how parenting is. But I have no ego, so what do I care? I don't have
Sure.
to prove that I can survive. I mean, if that's what we want to do, then all right, let's do it. Let's go survival hardcore. Let's do alone, you know?
Oh gosh, yeah, there you go.
I
Or the
would
one,
less
or
I
the
would
new,
die.
or there's the new one that's out where your family is actually like watching you, and then
Oh,
they like,
watching you, okay.
and then they get to be the ones to decide when you get to quit.
Oh no.
Yeah,
No. No. Uh-uh. No,
yeah.
I
I
am
haven't
not trusting my wife and kids to tell me when I no, screw that.
because the longer you stay in, the more money you make. But you could be complaining and having a horrible time, and they're like, "No, we're gonna keep pushing this on."
Yeah, that's the other part. Please, honey. Please.
I'm
I'm hurting
dying
so
out
bad.
here.
I'm so hungry. Let me go home.
Right?
Your
No
wife's like,
kidding.
no, we need that money. I need a camper.
I need a camper. Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Well, it is, it's getting definitely into camping season, so that's, I think there's something to be said by getting ready for that. We haven't gone camping in a little while, which is kind of sad, but life has been kind of crazy, so there's reasons for that.
Hmm. Yeah, it's difficult, you know? I mean, it's a real commitment. And
Oh, it does take a yeah, yeah.
your
Because you got to
kids
be
aren't.
ready when like January 1st or whatever, like maybe even like February rolls around, like you kind of have to have mapped out in most states where you're gonna go, so that you can call up and get reservations because they go
Mhm.
so quickly nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something I've never had to deal with. I had property or my friends had property and that's where we went and camped. And I guess I've just recognized that I have no more friends here. You know, no more friends with land. That's what I meant. No, actually, I'm not
Got all
that
those
sad.
lakes up there,
Just sort of
man. You just
friends.
got to make some
There's
friends.
got to be people. And I will say I know there is because the most hilarious thing for me, and it's a fun hilarious, it's a delightful hilarious, is I was talking to the scoutmaster and he's in his 70s, I would guess. Wonderful, amazing person. I love him so much. And he has so much love for the troop and for scouts. And it's just great to have him there. It just feels good to see him, you know. And it's so rare for people to just kind of fill you with that warm joy, you know, just being around them. And I mentioned that I wanted at some point to try to buy a couple of canoes and get the kids into the family canoeing, and we, you know, go somewhere and catch some fish and cook the fish and come back or whatever. And and I think I've said this before. I apologize for the redundancy, but he said, "Well, I can do that for you." And I went, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, I've got 6 canoes on a trailer. And I can bring them to wherever you want to get in, and then I'll meet you where you get out and bring you back
Wow,
to your car." And
there
I
you
went,
go.
"What?" Well, why? What? Why? What? Why? One, why would you do this? I
I
mean,
need a
this is
friend like
great,
that.
but right? And I'm just overwhelmed. And I'm definitely going to take him up on it
Oh
because,
yeah,
you
definitely.
know, and honestly, if he gets to a point, because he's in his 70s and maybe he wants to sell them, you know,
Yeah.
maybe he's ready to get rid of one or two of them. I want to be on that list. You know, he's got kids and grandkids, so I'm sure he has a place to put them, but still, I want to be like, yeah, Ray, yeah, come get me, man. Pick me up here and drop me in here and pick me up there. That's amazing. Uh, just blows my mind. So,
I definitely enjoy kayaking. That's one of my things that I like. Canoeing's
mhm.
fun, don't get me wrong, but being able to control your own vessel is a whole lot more enjoyable for sure. And
Yeah.
that to me is one of the things that I'm going to try to do this year with the dad's group is schedule a like a kayak or like a kayaking trip basically.
Hmm.
So because
Yeah.
there's a couple different like companies that you can go rent through them, and they drop you off and all that stuff. So
Hmm.
we'll see what happens on that because those are fun trips, you know, like
Yeah.
just get out and go and you know you basically just have to be back by a certain time. You can pull
Hmm.
off at any time you want, have a picnic, drink some beers, whatever, like that kind of thing, and just you know it's a lazy day.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's really, I think, beneficial.
Yeah,
Just get out, get away from everything. I think we um, don't take advantage of things like that enough in our life. I think with most of us, it's just been, we're also busy. I mean, we were both, I think, sitting here this morning just trying to figure out what we've done this week and what we're doing this week to the
yes,
point where we're almost unable to start the podcast. You
almost
know,
yes.
we're just, I'm sitting here and I just feel the gears just going about so many other things. So take I mean, we'll do it like a no screens night, you know, which is generally like a board games or crafting or whatever. And it is just so re-energizing, you
Yeah.
know, just to get away from everything, turn everything off, set it aside. And now I will say sometimes we do watch a movie together,
Hmm.
but that's much more interactive with us as a family because we're all talking about it and laughing or crying or whatever. But still getting away from the daily grind because the thing that I think we realize is that this job, and it includes having the job part time as you do now, and I do the air quotes because it's never going to be part time.
Yeah.
But the part time parenting that you're doing now, it's just so involving.
Yeah. More like
And
two
having a
full-time
moment to
jobs. That's
just,
what it is.
it is, yeah, absolutely.
It
And to
is.
just put the brake on that one and stop everything and go camping or go canoeing, you
Yeah.
know, go kayaking. I don't like kayaks as much because I'm a big fella and
I,
I've lost 60 pounds and I'm still at the top of most kayaks. Most kayaks are 250, and that's the big one. I want to take 250 pounds. I'm like, wow, okay. I could probably not sink that one now, but it's going to be close. You got to watch it. Yeah. But a canoe, yeah, canoe can handle me. He's got it, you know.
yeah.
So,
Well, that you were talking about just like, you know, kind of all the different things and trying to figure out what to talk about as well. Like for me, like I just have this massive checklist currently on my brain because we're getting ready to go on a cruise.
hmm.
Um, and so just basically like, you know, we'll record next week and I'm gonna basically turn around and edit it and get it ready because 2 days after that, like I'm out. I'm out of the country. So it's
Hmm.
like, okay, I got to get all these different things put together. We found out that we should be getting some different like vaccinations before we go, like
Yep. Yep.
malaria and whatnot, because of the
Right.
countries we're going into. So like we're now
Yeah. Please do that.
scrambling to get all that
Please don't get
situated.
malaria. Please
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
I'll come back healthy, please. I,
Well, they were talking about like you could take pills for like some odd amount of time, or you can get a shot. I'm like, just give me the shot. Like
mhm.
I don't need a number of pills. That doesn't sound like fun at all. But
As
yeah,
an
like
old man, it's not.
yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. I got enough. I got enough things that I have to take on a daily basis. I don't need one
Hmm.
more. But yeah, just getting ready for that, you know, and also too like getting things prepped for the kids, you know, being here with my grand or with grandma, my mom. So
Hmm.
who's coming down? So yeah.
She can handle it. She can handle it.
Oh yeah, no, I know she can. It's more along the
Good.
lines of just setting her up for success.
Hmm.
So,
Awesome.
because communication is not going to be as fluid as it would
Hmm.
if I was just at home dad con.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's that's what's going on there. Oh, in a dad esque sort of thing for you. I bought a brand new lawnmower last week.
Ooh, do tell. Writing,
Yeah,
push. Give me all the details here.
yeah. So, well, I did a ton of research trying to figure out exactly what I wanted. Because at first I was like, I wanted something that I thought I was gonna get something that I could stand on, like, you know,
Hmm.
like one of those like
Yeah.
professional ones.
Yes. Zero
And I,
turn. Let's go.
yeah, so I did a bunch of research on that, and to buy one brand new was a ridiculous price, and
Yes.
to find one that was used that didn't have like it runs great except for dot 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 like every
Hmm.
single post. Um, and too good to be true at like under 500 bucks.
Yeah. There's a
uh,
reason they're selling those. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Or the best one for me was like, well, the gear shifter's just a little bit loose and it's about a $56 part to fix, and that's really about it. And I'm like, then why haven't you fixed it? Like that's that's nothing. Give me a break. Go mow a couple yards and you'll have that in your pocket. But like I just couldn't come to terms with any of those. So then I started looking at push mowers and I was like, all right, I want something that's self-propelled. I found a couple different ones, but what I ended up landing on was a Toro like 22-inch recycler. So
Hmm.
it's also not only is it self-propelled, it's also self-pacing. So means that when you push the bar, like after you like grab it to like engage, when you push the bar, it goes. And if
Hmm.
you're not pushing the bar, then it stops. So it's not like a
Yeah.
constant thing. But like I
Nice.
could literally push it with my finger and it would go.
Oh,
And
that's
I was
cool.
showing Hezekiah just how easy it was because I was like, you could push this. And so like he came down from the porch because he was just watching me and he started pushing it. He pushed it one whole row. I was like, wow, that was really easy. I'm like, good. That's what I wanted to hear. Uh, because I'm like, at some point you're going to be doing this. Um, but the thing with it that's really neat, like you've got the ability, like it's got a bagger that you can actually shut the door onto it. So like,
Hmm.
and it's just nice. Like I've never had a brand new one before,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, this is going to be so great. So yeah, so I bought that last week, and there are times where I walk out of the house and I see the yard, and I'm like, oh, I need to mow the yard already again. Like
Uh-huh.
it's like an addiction now
Yeah.
because I actually have a mower that I trust.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
But I highly
And
suggest that one. If you're wanting your kids to mow the yard and you are looking for something that's safe and easy to use, that Toro Recycler self-pacing man is the way to go
hmm.
for sure. I highly recommend it.
Nice. Nice.
You can
So
sponsor us, Toro.
that's right, Toro. We love you, Toro. I have a Toro, just so you know. It's a riding mower, but I have one Toro. We're here for you. And I think my weed eater too. Yeah, pretty sure it's a Toro. Yeah, they're not listening, but we can try.
I know we
Um,
can always try.
but I love two things about it. Very, very dad of you. That one, you did all of your research.
Yes.
That was just like chef's kiss. Of course you did. Of course you did. Because that's how you do it. That's how it should be done by all peoples.
No buyer's remorse. That's the
No,
other big
no.
key.
Right. You went and you chose this is the one that I need for myself and for my family. And you that's just delightful. Delightful. And
Yeah.
then the second part is obviously the second most important part is being enthusiastic about your new purchase and cutting your grass. Because
Yes. And
that's a
introducing
big
your
part of
kid to it
daddy.
immediately.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so here's an age thing that I'm going to ask you. At any point when you were thinking about or showing your son or your child about the mower, did you consider I really want to give this kid a one that does not self-propel, does not yet he has to just push all it does is spin the blade and they've got to do all the work.
No, I rather have one that entices them to actually want to go out and use it, like
Okay.
versus someone who finds it to be a torture device.
And
And so,
that's very
yeah.
young dad of you. It really is. I love it. I love it.
Well, to be honest, like I've used the ones where you have to be pushing them and everything else, and I just never was a fan. As soon as I got the chance to have my first self-propelled like lawnmower to use, I was like, this is the golden age.
Hmm.
And
And it is. It is.
yeah,
I
and I
love
mean,
living in the future.
the only time I ever got to use a riding lawnmower was when I would go over and mow my grandfather's yard because he like
Hmm.
both my grandfathers had riding lawnmowers, and so I would a lot of times go over and do that for them so they wouldn't have to worry about it. And for me, like
Hmm.
I got to ride a riding lawnmower, so
Yeah.
I was in
Yeah.
heaven. But also
Oh, yeah.
too,
It's great.
not only like I know I talked about like that I showed Hezekiah. I showed Hezekiah because he's 12. Okay, like
Yeah.
he's at an age where like that's where he's at. Now, my whole intention is to also teach Ruby. so that
Hmm.
she knows as well. Because I think that that is one thing that is truly missing generational is dads teaching daughters the same things they teach their sons, whether it
Yeah.
be car mechanics or whether it be lawn care or even home repair type stuff.
Hmm.
Because giving them those tools means that they don't have to rely on some creepy repairman coming in and
Hmm.
working on something, or some repairman taking advantage of them because they're a
Right.
female or whatever it is. And that, like, of course, Corey's been a big motivator in that as well in conversations, because those were things that never were taught to her by her
Hmm.
dad. And so we want to make sure that Ruby is set up the best for the future. So
Hmm.
she's 9 right now, so that's kind of why I haven't really introduced it into her as well. But
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
the time will come.
she's maybe weed eater level. She could start with a weed eater and then push mower and then riding mower. There's a progression. You
And the
gotta
only
earn
weed
your
eater I
keep.
have is a gas powered weed eater, and it's pretty heavy. So I don't
She'll be
think she's going
fine.
to be handling that anytime soon. But she does, like, she does do some gardening and things like that with
Hmm.
Corey right
Yeah, I'm
now.
sure.
So
I'm sure. And
that's
you
good.
give to your kids at their level.
Yeah,
It's like you can handle this. I'm going to give you this, right?
yeah.
And it's really funny because for me, it hasn't been age wise. It's been the kid that's ready for this thing or not. I mean, I just got my 12-year-old to jump in the pool and I had to bribe him to do it. And he finally did it. And he goes, that was nothing. I'm like, yeah, I know. I've been telling you that for like 5 years. Just jump in. And he won't, he'll just kind of slide in or go down the ladder. I'm like, no, jump in. But okay, he wasn't ready. His little sister, 8. I had to keep her from
Oh
jumping
yeah.
in. I'm like, no, this has got to be 100%. You got to put this strap on the thing because you're going to jump in the lake and sink like a rock. I need you to bob back up to the surface. So hold your nose and then jump and make sure that all the straps are strapped on for the thing. Because, the little tiny ones she'll fall out of it and it'll go
Yeah.
up and she'll go down kind of thing.
That's where you got to put
Um,
it on the other way, like a pair of shorts.
like a pair of shorts. I don't want that. I don't want to see that. I just imagine too, especially if she goes end up, her feet are sticking up out of the water and she's
No,
just
her feet wouldn't be sticking out. Why she'd be like a little buoy.
but yeah, but giving to your kids when they're ready for it, whatever it might be, you know. We there's a lot of times a conversation of how you treat your oldest child, and then that changes with the second child, and
Oh yeah.
the first child will be like, what? Wait, you didn't never let me do that at that age. Okay, yeah, but it's not about the age; it's about the maturity
We
or
also
the
tested it out
understanding,
on you. We
and
figured,
it's
okay, if you're good at
right.
it, then they'll be
Right,
fine
that'll
at it
be
at this
fine.
age.
We just drop it down to the next one. It's okay. And also, it's our maturity. It's
Yeah.
our understanding. We're like, yeah, I absolutely was worried that this would happen, but I didn't recognize that you're a kid. You'll be fine or
You
whatever.
truly were the guinea pig. You
Yeah,
didn't
you're the
die.
kitty pig.
So we know that
So
now
we,
we can age it
so
back
we
some.
dropped the age.
That's how it works.
But yeah, it is. And learning what they're capable of, what they're ready for, because I mean, we have no idea what's going on especially the first time, when you first kid. I
Yeah.
mean, I was walking around like, I don't know what to do now. I was reading everything. I was talking to everybody I could, and I couldn't talk to that many people or read that much because I was so sleepy.
Yep.
The sleep
Well,
deprivation was
there's
wrecking me.
also the term the little term that we use a lot of times, especially with Hezekiah, when we're like kind of in a place where we're trying to work with him on something, and we're like, listen, we have never parented a 12-year-old before.
Nice,
So
nice.
we're learning and we are trying to do these different things. Now, the thing with it is that then we get the other one is like, you don't ever say that to me. Well, of course not, because we've actually parented a 9-year-old before, so we're good
Right,
there.
right. Yes, yep. We've got you. We figured you out already.
Yeah, we figured
We had
you out. Yeah.
our trial run with the older kid.
We had to have our guinea pig here do their work.
Hmm.
Sorry,
See,
I like one step away from being like our test dummy. That's not right. No, we're not going to call him a test dummy.
yeah.
Although
I
I'm
might
sure
start.
there's some parents out
I
there
might
like,
start
yeah,
using that one.
my oldest teenager is definitely a test dummy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, like a
But yeah,
house cat.
so
Teenagers.
but I do think that it is definitely a very important thing to not just teach a lot of these things that have been taught over the years to the same, like, all right,
Yeah.
boys do this and girls do that. It's like, if they don't want to do it or they're like, I'm not all that interested, the explanation of being like, okay, if you don't want to do this, just understand these are the things that you're going to put yourself into a place of, like,
Hmm.
like reliability on these things or having to deal with these situations because this is how the world is in some ways type of thing or whatever that is. And, just coming to that understanding. And also too, that's less money in your pocket.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
you having to pay somebody else, like you're paying them for the parts plus their time. Like,
Right.
do you want that to be coming out or do you want to just pay for the parts, use your
You're
own time?
looking at about $100 for service call for any service, electrician,
Easily. Yes.
plumber, anybody that's coming out of your house. You just expect, now it may be like 75 or something, but you might as well go ahead and commit $100 every time. And if you can save $100 by knowing how to switch your thermostat from cold to heat,
Yeah.
that's such a simple thing, but so many people don't think about. Well, and the other thing too is it is so simple. I don't remember anybody ever teaching me that. Definitely not my parents. But at
Yeah.
some point, I looked at it and went, heat. Oh, look, it works.
Yep.
And okay, but there's so many things that you learn like that. That again, it'll be a
Well, it's
hundred
like,
bucks to have somebody come out and just go, well,
yeah.
actually, you just flip it to heat and it works now,
Well,
and
and
you
it's
look
like
like
also
an
too,
idiot
you
for a
if
hundred
you're gonna
bucks.
go get an oil change, for instance, which
Hmm.
a lot of new cars nowadays, yeah, definitely go take it somewhere and get an oil change done for the most part because
Yeah,
some of
definitely.
that undercarriage armor is just it's not worth it to get in
Yeah,
there and
yeah.
mess with it. And of course, if you break something while you're doing that, then that's just a whole nother headache.
Hmm.
Um, but the thing with getting an oil change is, of course, then they're like, oh yeah, like, hey, your cabin air filter is getting bad or whatever. And it's like, oh, and they want to charge you some wild amount or whatever.
Yep.
And in all honesty, you could go to AutoZone and get one for probably 15, $20 and put it
Hmm.
in yourself. And it's all about knowing where it's at, which for most people,
Right.
it's behind the glove box, okay?
Yep.
Like
Behind the
in
glove
the
box.
passenger seat.
Yep.
And there's usually it's very easy to find a tutorial on YouTube to like
Hmm.
learn how to do it. That's what I ended up doing. And
Yeah.
anytime I take the car in for an oil change, they're like, "Oh yeah, like your air filter is getting gross or whatever." And I'm like, "I'm good. Like I
Yeah.
I'll take care of it later.
Yeah.
It's not a big
Yeah.
deal." So yeah, it just stuff like that. It because they will charge you, $50 on top of that to install something that took literally 5 minutes to
Hmm.
install.
Yeah. And for them, probably took less
Oh
because they've
yeah.
done it 1,000 times. Like, yeah, doop 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 doop, and they're done in under a
Hmm.
minute. And again, and they the part plus $50, and the part was more expensive than it would be
Well,
if
and
you
they've
got it.
already,
So
and of course they've already pulled the glove box drawer out anyways because they had to get to the air
to look at
filter.
it, yeah.
So yeah, it is as simple as unwrapping and shoving it in there and
Hmm.
putting it in there like 30 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah.
And you're like, well, I
And
can do that.
right, right. And there's so much about it that I think it just um, it comes down to me when I worked on my very first computer, and it was a 486. Okay, this thing was 1992, maybe. So this was top of the line at the time, man. It was garbage, absolute garbage. But I looked at it and I said, something's going on, but I don't want to. I wanted to add RAM to it. I want to do it, but I need to find somebody to do it for me. And my buddy looked at me and he goes, the biggest problem to learning how to work on computers is cracking the case open.
Yeah.
Once you open that case, everything changes. Everything changes. And it was immediate for me. I open it up and I'm like, oh, this is just I just take these two clips off and pull it out and put another one in and set the clips back.
Yep.
And the guy's like, yeah, that's it.
You got to remember that sector one screw goes in area one. Okay. And
Yeah. Yeah. But with cars, it's the same way.
oh yeah.
Open what does this thing do? And we've done it with the Suburban, and my kids are like, what is that? And I'm like, and I have an idea that's probably this, but I'm like, well, open it up and let's see. Pop the clips off, open it. Oh, it's a fuse box. you know, and now they've looked at it, they've opened it, they understand that they can open it, which is good for older kids to get, you know. You don't teach your young kids to get into stuff, stop that.
Go
But
get them at
get in
Chilton
there,
and then let them
yeah.
really get going on it.
Yes, right? Right. And to, again, I don't want to be a mechanic. And I don't care if my kids are mechanics, but I don't think that's where they would be happiest. You know, they don't have that love of an engine like that. But having them understand how an engine works and what it means, you know, like this light means stop the car immediately. No, you can't drive another mile. Pull over. It's got no oil. You're gonna die. You know, the engine's gonna be $1,000 if you don't pull over right now.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
whatever it might be. But having that understanding of what's going on inside, you know, and being able to do any of the basics, and then again, you don't get ripped off, which I
Hmm.
think is something that all parents should teach their kids.
Well, that reminds me of what my pastor was telling us on Easter Sunday was that he got a call from his daughter who is 16 and was out driving. And like one of the big things was, of course, like filling the tank and
Hmm.
teaching that. And she called her dad and was like, "Hey, I filled the tank up. It was, I actually got a really good deal on gas." And he's like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah." She's like, it wasn't the main one that you typically showed me. It was this other one with a green handle, and it was a little
No.
bit cheaper. And she's like, he goes, "Where is your mother at?" Because she was with her, and he's like, "Oh, she's in the store right now." And so he goes, "Get her on the phone now." And everybody in the church is just like jaws on the floor listening to
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah, yeah.
conversation. And he's like, "Yeah, so we found out that, or actually, while this was all happening, like I'm Googling, like, what happens, what do I need to do with putting diesel
Diesel in
in a
my
gas
gas.
tank?" And he's like, "Oh, we gotta take it. It has to be towed to a shop, and it has to be siphoned out, and then like it has to be flushed, and new gas has to be put in." He's like, "Oh my gosh, this is expensive."
Mm.
And his wife gets on the phone, and he's like, "Our daughter just put diesel gas in our tank," and she goes, it'll be okay. And he goes, "No, it's not. Like, it's a big issue." And he goes, she's like, "No, it'll be okay." And he's like, "No, it's not." And she goes, "It'll be okay. April Fool's Day."
Oh my,
And like every single person, especially all the dads, are just like,
right? I was sweating. I was sweating. I'm like, do not start that car. Do not start that car. Please don't tell me she started that car.
yeah. He,
Sheesh.
oh my gosh, yeah. He got us all. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, but they actually pulled that prank on him on April Fool's Day this year. And I
Mm-mm.
was like, "Oh," he was like, "I was getting ready to go to a men's Bible study," and he was just like, "Oh, this is crazy."
Can I get a no? Man.
Oh, well, anyway, I just thought I'd tell you that before we finish the show, and
Yeah.
everybody can take a couple breaths. Hopefully nobody wrecked their car while listening to that or whatever. Uh, uh, grab your teenager, hug them really tightly, and just say, "Nah, never the green handle," unless, and
Right.
for some instance, they actually drive a diesel
A
vehicle.
diesel. Yep. You must
So,
read.
yeah, definitely. Well, hey, I guess I'll see you all next week, and then we'll have somebody else on after that because
Mhm.
I will be in the
Yay.
Caribbean. Well, till next time, y'all have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.